Namo Arihantaram, Namo Sitaram, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vachayanam, Namo Loye Sarvasahuram, Eso Pancha Namo Yado, Sarva Pava Panasana, Mangalanam Cha Sarvesim, Paramam Hoi Mangalam.
Okay. So last week we touched on Jiva Jeev. Atul is here as well. One sec. Okay, Poonam, please play the book Balbod.
Balbod, yeah.
Yeah. Jai Jinendra. Okay. So like last week we touched on Jiva Jeev. And also we talked about Dincharya last week. Isn't it? So in Dincharya, anybody remembers what we talked about? As she's putting the book on the screen. Atul? Here, this is Dincharya. Okay, let's start with Atish. No, sorry. Ashit. Okay, please go up. Okay, so how many of you can remember any point? Let's start with Atish, then Rajshri, then Bindi. You don't remember. Okay, Rajshri?
I was not there last week.
No, this was last to last week. We did it. I remember you were there. At least I remember Atish, Ashit was there. No, I think you were there. For Dincharya, you were there, Rajshri. Okay, Bindi?
Dincharya.
Din means day, Charya means activities of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you wake up and you go to the temple and you pray and then you do
No.
Swadhyay and all that.
No, that's Dev Darshan. That is Dev Darshan. How to do Dev Darshan? This is when you wake up first thing in the morning, you first recite Namokar mantra, okay, then scroll down. So it says the first thing when you do in like when you wake up before having a bath, before brushing your teeth, you first recite, okay, ek minute, Poonam, just go up. Okay, so as you can see, this boy is brushing his teeth. So next, after you recite Namokar mantra 9 times, then you brush your teeth, you go for a bath, then you eat your, you don't eat your breakfast, but then you brush your teeth and then you go for a bath and then scroll down. Okay, so next, Bindi.
It's about following a proper timetable, having a daily routine. So the way you wash your body and cleanse your body, you can cleanse your mind and your soul.
Yeah, good. But okay, not exactly correct as well. Okay, so when you wash your body, you're washing the physical body. Now, how do you clean the soul? Now, they've even explained this. Anyone can answer. Ashish? I don't think Ashish was there, but maybe if you read it at home.
It was.
You were there, yeah.
I just think once you do the Navkar mantra, when you wake up.
Navkar is not there as per to our Digambar tradition. Namokar
mantra. And then you think, Atma cho. Yeah. You have to try and think, Jeev chune, when you start your day. Is that how you cleanse your
Yeah,
So-
okay, so your point is correct, but according to this, what it is that first you recite Namokar mantra, then you brush your teeth, you wear clean clothes, have a bath, etc. You go to the temple. After you go to the temple, there then how to clean your man. Shu man pan ashudh thai che. Now scroll down.
Please.
Ha bhai. Just a second. Yeah. હા ભાઈ જેવી રીતે બાહ્ય અશુદ્ધિ એટલે if like physical body બાહ્ય અશુદ્ધિ આપણું શરીર અશુદ્ધ છે તેવી જ રીતે રાગ દ્વેષ મોહ આદિ રાગ દ્વેષ meaning likes and dislikes moh means illusion. Hold on, somebody's trying to come in, give me a second. You will need to close this screen because somebody's trying to come in. I can't let her in. Okay, okay, fine. Maybe she's offline. Okay, now please go back. Okay. હા ભાઈ જેવી રીતે બાહ્ય અશુદ્ધિ આપણું શરીર અશુદ્ધ કરે છે તેવી જ રીતે રાગ દ્વેષ મોહ. રાગ દ્વેષ means likes and dislikes. મોહ means illusion. આદિ means etc. Vikari means, hold on. Okay. Vikari means those thoughts which are not good for the soul or going against the nature of the soul. Vikari bhavo આપણા મનને અશુદ્ધ કરે છે. જેવી રીતે સ્નાન મંજન means brushing your teeth આદિ આપણું શરીર સાફ કરે છે તેવી જ રીતે આત્મા અને પરમાત્માનું ચિંતન થી આપણું મન પવિત્ર થાય છે. આપણે અંદર અને બહારની બંનેની પવિત્રતા તરફ ધ્યાન રાખવું જોઈએ. Okay, next, scroll down. ત્યાર પછી શૌચ એટલે go to the bathroom, to the washroom. Datar means brushing your teeth. Adi, nivruti. So first you think about the soul. Adi, snan karine, શુદ્ધ ધોયેલા કપડા પહેરીને મંદિરે જાવું જોઈએ ને દેવ દર્શન કરવા જોઈએ. Now scroll down because this we already talked about. Okay, દેવ દર્શનની વિધિ તો તમને તે દિવસે સમજાવી હતી, which is in chapter 4. ત્યાર પછી અલ્પ આહાર. Look, there is a very scientific reason over here. After you go to the temple, ત્યાર પછી અલ્પાહાર, which we call breakfast. So दूध नास्तो जी भी આપણે લેતા હોય લઈને નિશાળે કે પાઠશાળા. નિશાળે means school. સ્કૂલે જાવું જોઈએ or ઓફિસે જાવું જોઈએ. અને look, it is written over here કે એવી જ રીતે ભોજન પણ દરરોજ સમય પ્રમાણે 10 કે 11 વાગ્યા શાંતિપૂર્વક કરવું જોઈએ. Now we had talked about the scientific reasoning. The scientific reasoning is that Ahil, also you listen. The scientific reasoning is between 1 and 3 p.m. the small intestine is active. Once food goes in the stomach, it sits there for 45 minutes. After that, it goes to the small intestine for digestion. So when you eat your food, say at about 11 o'clock, for example, it is the optimum time for digestion because it will sit there for 45 minutes. Then it will go to the small intestine. So it gets about 2 hours exactly for like digestion. Yeah. So that is the reason. Everything in Jainism is scientific. It is just unfortunate that now we are following a Western method of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But in reality, our Indian philosophy, or we can even say in our Jain Shastra, આવી રીતે like લખેલું છે કે have your first meal between 10 and 11 o'clock, and then have your second meal before sunset. Now, it might not be possible because now everything has changed. Everything has changed. Even our work timings have changed. That it might, this system might not be possible. But even today, when you go to India, you actually see people in Devlali, people in Songad, they're actually following this system. And you can see that they're very, very healthy. Elderly ladies, elderly men, they're like very, very healthy. Because it is actually giving optimum time for digestion and we're not overeating. Okay. પછી રાત્રે ભોજન કદી ના કરવું જોઈએ. કદી ના કરવું જોઈએ. why shouldn't we eat at night? Because now we have got electricity. Back in the day, maybe 100 years ago, there was no electricity. So maybe that's the reason why they were not doing Ratri Bhojan. But આ તો અરિહંત ભગવાનનો સંદેશ છે, which is not only, till મહાવીર ભગવાન, એની પહેલા પણ બીજા 23 તીર્થંકર થઈ ગયા છે. તો ત્યારથી જ આ તો you can say billions of years ago થી આ વાત ચાલે છે કે we should not be eating Ratri Bhojan. Ratri Bhojan we should not be eating for the simple reason that we cannot see everything with the naked eye. We can't see the microbes with the naked eye. And even they've written in Shastra, it is as bad as eating meat. Ratri Bhojan ji apne kare che ne, it is as bad as eating meat. So now it is an individual choice. We all have to understand ourselves. Acharya Bhagwan and our bade Shastra can only give us knowledge and information. Now one has to decide for themselves ke khota khota karma su bandhva che apne. Khoti khoti pida. Pida means that do we want to suffer unnecessarily? Because if we are hurting infinite jeev unnecessarily, then eventually we are also going to face that. So it is up to us, because as a teacher, or maybe like a book jene lekhi che, or maybe Acharya Bhagwan jene Shastra ma lekhu che, he can only give us information, or he can only share with us the knowledge that he has. But it is now up to us કે આપણે શું really માં કરવું છે. આપણે આ રાત્રિ ભોજન 1 કલાક વહેલા ખાઈ લેશું, we will be fine. We will actually be doing a lot good to the body, to the mind, everything. There'll be less, as we age, there will be less acidity, less problems, less indigestion, less heart attacks. So now it is for everyone to think for themselves. ત્યાર પછી રાત્રે 8 થી 9 વાગ્યા સુધી પોતપોતાનો સ્વાધ્યાય કરવો જોઈએ. પોતપોતાનું કંઈક વાંચન કરવું જોઈએ, જેને અને જે આપણને આત્માને પરમાત્માથી ભેદ કરાવશે, આત્માને પરમાત્માનું સ્વરૂપ જે આપણને દેખાડશે, અને આત્માને શરીરથી ભેદ means that the separation, that body and atma are separate. તો આપણને જેનું કરાવશે એવું કંઈક વાંચવું જોઈએ આપણે, because the whole day we are so used to believing I am a body, I'm driving the car, I am shopping, I am eating. So at the end of the day, if we can do some swadhyay which will remind us કે ના હું તો આત્મા છું. બધાય બાળકો આજથી બધાય બાળકો બધા બાળકો આજથી અમે આપેલો બતાવેલો દિનચર્યા, એટલે આ જે ટાઈમ ટેબલ આપેલો છે એ પ્રમાણે ચાલવું, અને શરીરની સ્વચ્છતા એટલે બોડીની ક્લેનલીનેસ. As we have all learned this proverb, cleanliness is next to godliness. So this is actually extremely true, that mind and body jo clean hase તો આપણે આત્મા સુધી પહોંચી શકશું. નીકળ ઓલવેઝ મને હેડેક છે, એના ઉપર ધ્યાન રહેશે, મને આ થાય છે, મને આમ થાય છે, I've got this, I've got that, ત્યાં જ આપણું ધ્યાન રહ્યા કરશે. અને બોડી જો ક્લીન હશે, બોડીમાં કંઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ નહીં હોય, તો આત્મા ઉપર બી ફોકસ થશે, because it becomes difficult to think about the soul when the body is in pain. Okay. શરીરની સ્વચ્છતા, cleanliness of the body, સાથે જ આત્માની પવિત્રતા પણ, આત્માની પવિત્રતાનું પણ ધ્યાન રાખવું જોઈએ. So we should keep the mind clean by thinking about the soul. હું તો જીવ છું, મારામાં અનંત ગુણ છે, અનંત શાંતિ, અનંત વીર્ય, etc. Okay, now પ્રશ્ન આશીષ. એક સારા બાળકની દિનચર્યા કેવી હોવી જોઈએ?
સવારના ઉઠવાનું just before sunrise. ને પછી નવકાર મંત્ર ખાવાના.
નમોકાર મંત્ર.
નમોકાર મંત્ર, sorry. ને પછી દાંતણ કરી
પેલા sorry, go on, yeah.
પછી નાઈ લેવાનું, ક્લીન ક્લોઝ પહેરી મંદિરે જવાનું, દર્શન પાછું કરવાનું, નમોકાર મંત્ર ને દર્શન. ને પછી જો સ્વાધ્યાય હોય તો સ્વાધ્યાયમાં બેસાય ને એના પછી અલ્પ
આહાર
આહાર કરવાનો
બ્રેકફાસ્ટ
અને પછી કામે કે સ્ટડીઝ કે whatever.
ઓકે યા ગુડ ને પછી રાત્રે
રાતના બિફોર સનસેટ ખાઈ લેવાનું લાસ્ટ મીલ ને પછી જરાક સ્વાધ્યાય કે કરવાનું.
ગુડ ઓકે ગુડ સવારમાં સૌથી પ્રથમ ઉઠીને આપણે શું કરવું જોઈએ રાજશ્રી સવારમાં સૌથી પ્રથમ ઉઠીને આપણે શું કરવું જોઈએ
નવકા મંત્ર બોલવો જોઈએ 9
નમોકાર
times.
નમોકાર Start to
નમોકાર
become
મંત્ર
used to
બોલવો
the
જોઈએ
name.
9 times.
Very good. Okay. Next question is for Atul. શારીરિક સ્વચ્છતા એટલે cleanliness of the body અને મનની પવિત્રતા pureness of the mind બાબતમાં શું સમજ્યા તમે શું સમજ્યા
હું તો આત્મા છું.
હા ના બરાબર so that you have answered the second half મનની પવિત્રતા અને શારીરિક સ્વચ્છતા
શારીરિક sorry I don't know what શારીરિક means sorry.
શારીરિક means body and swachhta means cleanliness so the cleanliness of the body
No idea.
આપણે like સવારના ઉઠીને બ્રશ કરવાનું એટલે things that you already know સવારના ઉઠીને બ્રશ કરવાનું નાવાનું ક્લીન કપડા પહેરવાના એમની કે ગઈકાલના કપડા પહેરી લેવાના because they have specified that ક્લીન કપડા પહેરીને દેવ દર્શન એટલે મંદિરે જાવું અને દેવ દર્શન કરવું એટલે ઈ શારીરિક સ્વચ્છતા છે okay
Only if you can do it, right?
yeah only if you can do it because here we are answering the questions as per to what they've explained on top
Yeah.
એટલે પછી like condition નહીં રાખવાનો condition રાખશો તો કદાચ કોઈ દિવસ નહીં કરો because you know you have that choice so try to follow what like Jinendra Bhagwaan is telling us because obviously he's telling us for our best not for our better but for our best yeah for our best future okay શારીરિક સ્વચ્છતા માટે શું કરવું જોઈએ પૂનમ શારીરિક સ્વચ્છતા means cleanliness of the body
શારીરિક સ્વચ્છતા માટે આપણે નહાવું જોઈએ અને દાંતણ મંજન કરવું જોઈએ અને નાવાનું મતલબ એમ જ નહીં કે આપણે ક્વિકલી આમ પાણી જ રેડવાનું આપણી સેલ્ફ ઉપર પણ સરખી આખી બોડીને સાફ કરવાની
that point has come in this chapter that સરખી રીતે સ્ક્રબ કરીને બોડીને ધોવાની ઓકે મનની આત્માની પવિત્રતા માટે શું કરવું જોઈએ આશિત મનની પવિત્રતા માટે શું કરવું જોઈએ
I don't know.
you don't know think you know
વહેલું જમી લેવાનું
ના ઈ તો that is for the શરીર માટે ને શરીર જમે છે મનની એટલે આપણે વિચાર કરવાનું મન બીજું શું કરી શકે like વિચાર જ કરી શકે ને આશિત so શું આપણે શું કરવાનું
Think about the soul.
yeah very good yeah so we have to think about the soul કે હું પોતે આત્મા છું પરમાત્મા બનવાની શક્તિ પડી છે and so on મારામાં અનંત ગુણ છે અનંત શાંતિ છે અનંત સુખ છે Atul at any point when you don't understand the Gujarati words even Bindi just stop me and ask okay now let's move on to the next chapter Adinath Bhagwaan which is Rishabdev Bhagwaan okay Bhagwaan Adinath okay so now Rajshri will read and Punam will also read Rajshri read Ba and Punam read Putri
બા ઘેર ચાલો ને
આવું તો છું જરા ભક્તામણનો પાઠ કરી લઉં
ભક્તામણ શું છે
ભક્તામણ
સ્તોત્ર
સ્તોત્ર એક સ્તુતિનું નામ છે. એમાં ભગવાન આદિનાથની સ્તુતિ ભક્તિ કરવામાં આવી છે.
બા, જેમની સ્તુતિ હજારો માણસો દરરોજ કરે છે, તે આદિનાથ કોણ હતા?
તે તો ભગવાન હતા. તેઓ દુનિયાની બધી વાતો જાણતા હતા અને તેમના રાગ દ્વેષ મોહ
નષ્ટ
થઈ ગયા હતા. તેથી તેઓ પરમ સુખી હતા.
શું તેઓ જન્મથી જ વિતરાગી સર્વજ્ઞ હતા? તેમનો જન્મ ક્યાં થયો હતો?
ના
ફ્રોઝન તેમનો
ના બેટી, તેમણે વિતરાગના અને વિતરાગતા અને સ્વાધ્યાયતા સર્વજ્ઞ પુરુષાર્થી
પ્રાપ્ત
કરી હતી. તેમનો જન્મ અયોધ્યા નગરીમાં ત્યાંના રાજા નભીરાયની રાણી મરુદેવીની is it correct?
Yes, મરુદેવીની
મરુદેવીની કોખે થયો હતો.
Okay, now stop. Okay, now just close the book. Okay, so it is talking about our first Tirthankar. Our first Tirthankar was called Rushabdev Bhagwaan, who is called Adinath. Atul, why is he called Adinath? Adi means start. Adi means start. So he was the first Tirthankar. That is the reason why he's called Adinath. Okay, so Rushabdev Bhagwan was born to Nabhirai Raja and to Maru Devi was the queen. Maru Devi, Rani Maru Devi. And all Tirthankars are born in Ayodhya. That is a rule. But what has happened in this Honda of Sarpini, this sort of a time cycle happens after 144 time cycles. So you can almost say after uncountable years. I mean, the figure is so large that you can actually say that it happens after uncountable years. 144 time cycles is almost as good as let's use the words correctly. It might be as good as infinite years. I'm like carefully using the words as good as. It might not be infinite years, but it is as good as infinite. એટલો બધો time cycle પછી આવે છે અને Honda of Sarpini is not a good time cycle. So what has happened in Honda of Sarpini, that some Tirthankars were not born in Ayodhya. Some Tirthankars did not attain moksha from Samet Shikharji. Otherwise, it is a set rule that all Tirthankars are born in Ayodhya. All Tirthankars attain moksha from Samet Shikharji. And Samet Shikharji is a Shashwat Parvat. Shashwat means it will forever exist. It will not be like, for example, like Mount Longonot, which can crumble one day. Or it might not be like Mount Kenya. Maybe after certain years, it might crumble. But Samet Shikharji is like Nilamanti, evo Shashwat Parvat, it will forever exist. Shashwat language is called Sanskrit. જ્યાં સંસ્કૃત ભાષા છે ને એમાંથી બધી લેંગ્વેજીસ થઈ છે. Name it, Hindi, Gujarati, English, Latin, French, German, Spanish, name it. but the languages have come from Sanskrit. So these are Shashwat. And Adinath Bhagwan was the first Tirthankar who was born in the 3rd era. Now, Atul, one day you were asking about the time cycle. Now, how does this work? Poonam, it works that there are 6 eras, Ashish. The first era and the first, second, and third era, it is called Bhog Bhumi. This is very interesting to know that our history is so rich that there is nothing like the Darwin's theory that from dinosaurs to monkeys to humans. In fact, we have had a better life in the first, second, and third era compared to the 4th and 5th era in terms of luxuries or in terms of getting things so easily. So in the, hi Rahul. Jai Jinendra. In the first, second, and third era, what happened was nobody had to go to work. Nobody had to make food. Nobody had to basically work hard for a living. There were wishing trees called Kalpavruksha. There were wishing trees called Kalpavruksha. And for example, they would ask for something and within a second it would appear. So there was nothing like going to work, nothing like, doing things. Everything it was like basically wishful living. You wish for something, it happens. Now how much food were they consuming? In the first era, they were eating every 7 days. In the second era, every 5 days they were eating. In the third era, they were eating every 3 days. And how much were they eating? As small as a peanut etluj khata, and they would be satisfied. So they were not eating like in the 5th era, gamme tyare, this is what we see right now. This is actually, we eat breakfast, we eat at 10 o'clock, we eat at lunch, we eat at 4 o'clock. Even if we don't eat, say we drink tea, we're eating, we're drinking, we're doing something at 4 o'clock. Then at night we're eating, say after that we're invited somewhere at night, then we're eating over there. So 6 meals is what we see in this day and age. So in these first, second, and third era, they were eating very, very little. Now, why are we stressing on this? Because there are claims that you need to eat more to be strong. The whole theory is false. One should understand this. Point number 1. Point number 2 is that when one eats non-vegetarian food, one gets more protein. And with that protein, they will be stronger. There are like many theories like this. Now, in lentils, there is 21% protein compared to meat and eggs, where there's only 9% protein. So we don't have any reason. It is only industry to sell these like products, because it has become a multinational industry to process meat and eggs and etc. So one should be aware of even how the companies are working. Okay, so now coming to Rishabdev Bhagwan, in the first, second, and third era, Ashish, there were twins who used to be born, to one girl, one boy. And what used to happen at birth, Rahul, that the mother and father would pass away. Then how did the twins grow? By sucking their thumb. Sorry, not thumb, their toe thumb. They would suck their toe thumb and they would grow up like that. Right? So, okay. Then once they would grow up, the twins would marry each other. And once again, they would have twins again. Again, boy and girl. Then once the boy and girl are born, again, the parents die. And again, they grow up by just sucking their thumb, their toe thumb. So this is how the third era was. Now comes the fourth era. Why are we elaborating on this? Rishabdev Bhagwan was born in the third era, but then, and his father Nabhi Rai was the 14th Kulkar. Now, like later on, we will talk about what is Kulkar. He was the 14th Kulkar. Now the fourth era came, and now all of a sudden it became Karma Bhumi. Now people had to start earning money, making their own food, and koi paase kai skill to nati. Because till the third era, Ashit, avoid like missing the information. Okay, so until the third era, there was no working at all. So whatever you used to wish for, baddu mari jatu. Now comes the fourth era where people have got no skill. They've got no skill at all. At all, they've got no skill. Now, Rishabdev Bhagwan had 2 wives. He had 101 sons, 100 sons, and he had 2 daughters, Brahmi and Sundari. 100 sons mathin be putra નું નામ છે. એકનું નામ છે ભરત ચક્રવર્તી અને બીજા પુત્રનું નામ છે બાહુબલી. And of course, there were the other 98 brothers. So this is their family. This is their family. Now in the 4th era, like what was there in the 3rd era, the lion used to come and sit next to the human because nobody had any verbhav, nobody had any animosity with each other. Now all of a sudden the animals started to change. The lion started to roar louder, more fierce, and now everyone started to get scared of him. So now they started to divide between humans and between the animals. They now started to have that division. Once they started to have that division, that's point number 1. Okay, so that's point number 1, Bindi. They started to have that division between animals and humans. Point number 2. Now, Brahmi and Sundari, they started to teach the entire humankind, I mean, like human race at that time. They started to teach them various skills like pottery, sewing, clothes, etc., etc. Now, another 3rd important point is that they are in North India, which is now called Banaras. It was called Kashi back in the day. And Dev in the 4th era, Dev Swargmath niche avta ta. So tyare loke akhi Kashi city, they basically created it. They like developed the whole city. That city was so beautiful, and every civilization slowly started to start in the 4th era. They started to develop it. Brahmi and Sundari started to teach everybody different skills, various skills they started to teach. So these brings up very, very important points that in Jain Darshan from day 1, there has never been discrimination against women and education. This is the point I want to bring. 92% of Jain women are educated in this day and age, So Brahmi and Sundari started to teach everybody various skills. Bharat was the eldest son. Bharat Chakravarti, he conquered the Cha Khand, the 6 large sectors of land, Atul. The 6 large sectors of land is called Khand. So there are 6 like that. So he conquered Cha. Cha means 6. Cha Khand ne, he conquered it. Now, when he returned, okay, we'll do the story of Bharat and Bahubali later on. Let's continue with Rishabdev Bhagwan. Rishabdev Bhagwan, one day, because he was King Rishabdev, he was not a Bhagwan. So, like a very important point came about, that one is not born as a Bhagwan. One is not born as a Bhagwan. He was a normal human being like us, and Tirthankar Banwa na hata. એટલે એને સમ્યક દર્શન, મતિ જ્ઞાન, શ્રુત જ્ઞાન અને અવધિ જ્ઞાન, આ ત્રણ જ્ઞાનથી he was actually born with these three knowledge. And samyak darshan means that he already had experienced the soul in the mother's womb. So he had already experienced the soul, and in the mother's womb he already had these 3 gnan. Mati Gnan, Shrut Gnan, Avdi Gnan. So this is how Rishabdev Bhagwan is born. Now one day he's in the court, like in the Sukyavai, in the king's court, and there's like Devi who comes from heaven, and her name was Nilanjana. Her name was Nilanjana. She's dancing, and all of a sudden her life finishes. Now there is not like Devni is not like when they finish their life, it is not a sad affair like ours. The life finishes, and Indra immediately, within a split of a second, when nobody can even realize, he brought in a new Nilanjana. And that lady started to continue dancing. But Rishabdev Bhagwan obviously is going to be Tirthankar. Then to Gnan bhi etlu badu clarity sathe hatu. Etlu sukshma, etlu subtle hatu enu Gnan. So he immediately realized that this Nilanjana has been replaced and any life is over. And vairagya meaning now he started to lose interest in the worldly affairs, in ruling, in being a king, in being a father, in being, like protecting his subjects, etc., etc., etc. He started to lose interest in all these things. And because he started to lose interest in these things, he became a monk. Now, you must remember, why did Nilanjana come down? Because it was Rishabdev Bhagwan's birthday on that day. It was his birthday on that day, so they were celebrating, and so this Nilanjana was dancing. So on his birthday, he took Diksha. So his Janma Kalyanak and Diksha Kalyanak are on the same day. So he took Diksha on this day, and then obviously he became a monk, but they var jhad mathin kadhine ka Rishabdev Bhagwane. He pulled it out and he threw it to the ground. And then obviously he became Bhagwan. So now your homework is, because now half an hour is up, your homework is to read on Adinath Bhagwani's story. In brief, I've given you the story, but this is now your homework to read this story. Okay, now let's move on to book number 2. And it is a very interesting story. Abadi Tirthankar Bhagwani's stories are very, very interesting. Even Shantinath Bhagwani's story is also very, very interesting. Or like even Neminath Bhagwani, like ama ek story ause in all these Balbodh. Okay, Punam, you can play the Dravya Gun Pariyaay, the Laghu Jain Siddhant Praveshika. Now this book has been written by Gopal Das ji. Now Gopal Das ji na wife keva hata. Like she was an iron lady. She used to make Gopal Das ji do work. And this is only, say, 200, 400 years ago. It was not very, very long ago. So she used to make Gopal Das ji work. 1 second. Okay. So she used to make Gopal Das ji work in the house. She he had to basically do all the housework. And then in the evening, Gopal Das ji used to go to the temple to give a pravachan on Jain darshan. So ek divas suthyu, so this Gopal Das ji forgot to fill the hookah. I think everybody understands hookah, isn't it? The that shisha. So he forgot to fill that with the whatever you put in it. I think you put in it charcoal. So he forgot to fill that. He actually forgot to fill that. So the wife comes running into the temple and she says that you forgot to fill my hookah. Imagine, look at the iron lady she is. And Gopal Das ji slowly stood up from there and he went and filled it. So this is how much she used to trouble him. In other words, she used to trouble him to this extent. And what happened on her deathbed when this lady was dying, she realized her mistake. That what I did all my life, I never respected my husband, etc., etc., etc. So she was feeling sorry. But now look at the answer that Gopal Das ji gives. He's saying that, in fact, you were like a vairagya for me. You were like a inspiration for me to look at my soul. Because say, for example, if you were dressing beautifully or if you were such a ideal wife, my attachment or my love towards you would always be more. But because you were of this nature, I was always able to look at my soul and study further that Huto Atma chu. So why are we saying this story? Because in every negative situation, something positive can be found. So it's a utterly Saras book, such a beautiful book, Gopal Das ji lekhi che, that 400 years later, I'm not sure exactly how many years later, but approximately 400 years later, we're actually studying this book. Okay, so now question number 1, very, very quickly. Okay. And then we move on to question number 3 and we elaborate on pariyaay and we move on to question number 4. Dravya kone kahe che? દ્રવ્ય કોને કહે છે? ગુણોનો સમૂહને દ્રવ્ય કહે છે. If anybody wants to write this in English, you can write it. Let me just write it in the chat as well. The togetherness of infinite good qualities is called dravya. So if anybody wants to write it, you can write it very quickly, or we can leave it on the chat and you can like write it later on.
Is it just good qualities or just any qualities?
No, gun. Gun is translated into good qualities. Gun,
ગુણ
a-
પણ આ દ્રવ્ય છે ને.
the togetherness of infinite good qualities. Samuha. Samuha is togetherness.
But that would be regard to soul, right?
No, dravya. Like Nilamanti, કેટલા દ્રવ્ય છે?
ના દ્રવ્ય તો છે, છે એટલે જ હું પૂછું છું કે એવી રીતે what you said is કે ગુણોના
સમૂહ.
good qualities, yeah, you said. But is it good qualities only or it could be any quality? That's
No,
my-
it is gun is good qualities. એટલે જીવની, પુદ્ગલની, ધર્માસ્તિકાય, અધર્માસ્તિકાય, આકાશ અને કાળ. બધાય છએ છ દ્રવ્ય, I mean છએ છ દ્રવ્યને this definition will apply.
So it's only good qualities.
Yeah, it is only good because gun is translated into good qualities.
Okay.
આપણે એમ કહીએ ને કે આનામાં ગુણ છે. For example, she is good at this, she's good at that, etc. So gun is like translated into good qualities. Okay, ગુણ કોને કહે છે? જે દ્રવ્યના સર્વ ભાગોમાં અને તેની સર્વ અવસ્થાઓમાં રહે છે તેને ગુણ કહે છે. So let me write this down in English. And then all of you have to memorize it because now we can't keep on coming back to question 1, 2, and 3. Now we want to move forward. Okay. So, je dravyana sarva, so the gun. Let me write it. Gun is present in all parts and in all pariyays of the dravya. Okay, now pariyaay kone kahe che? It is the modification or activity of each gun. I'm going to write each in cap locks. Each gun in each again in cap locks. Samay. Samay means the smallest unit of time. Samay means the smallest unit of time. It is all there in the chat.
Kamal,
Yeah.
as you've put gun, that it's present in all parts and in all pariyays of the dravya. But does avastha mean the same as pariyaay, or it's more like
Yeah,
a state?
avastha or even halat. It means pariyaay. Even in certain books, you will get halat. Avasthao or even halat. Because gun, pariyaay ke nahi hoy. Pariyaay gun nahi hoy. So,
Pradesh,
okay.
Pradesh.
Pradesh is the smallest unit of space. Pradesh is the smallest unit of space. So okay, now today let's understand pariyaay. You can close the book and okay, let's read the fourth question and then you can close the book. No, a little bit up. 7.
4, number 4.
નીચે. Okay. ગુણના કેટલા ભેદ છે? Okay. સામાન્ય અને વિશેષ. Okay, fine. Now we can close it. It's okay. We will answer even question number 4. Okay. So fine. So pariyaay. Now all of you have actually understood it. It's just that the words are difficult over here. Okay, Ashish, name the 4 gun of Pudgal. Unmute. Unmute.
Verse, ras, gand, and varna.
Okay. Atul, name the 5 gun of Jeev. Darshan. No, you know it. You know it. We like did it last week. Darshan. Yeah. Darshan. It might be there in your book, in your exercise book. Okay, you
Sorry,
look for
5 what? 5
5 gun. 5
Ah.
gun of Jeev. Okay, Bindi.
Darshan, Gnan, Sukh, and Charitra. That's
Very
4.
good. Yeah.
The 5th one, I'm not
Virya.
sure.
Virya. Maybe we didn't do it in this class. Okay, but the 5th one is called Virya. Okay, so now repeat, Rahul.
What does that mean in Gujarati?
Yeah,
English?
Virya.
Sorry, we've got
Virya,
faith, knowledge, conduct, happiness, and
Virya means courage.
courage. Okay.
Courage, yeah. Rahul, repeat the 5.
Okay. Virya, Nan, Charitra, Sukh, Darshan.
Very good. Neelamanti, translate all of them in English. Say now, darshan means faith, like that.
Darshan એટલે faith, જ્ઞાન એટલે knowledge, ચારિત્ર એટલે conduct, સુખ એટલે happiness અને વીર્ય એટલે courage.
Ashit, repeat all of them and also with the translation.
Darshan ekle faith,
Gyan,
Gnan ekle knowledge, Charitra conduct, Sukh happiness, Virya courage.
okay. Rajshri, repeat all of them with the translation without looking, because now 2 people have said it. Or actually 3 people have said it.
Darshan is faith. Gnan is knowledge. Virya is courage. Sukh is happiness. And Charitra is conduct.
Very good. Clap for her. Good. Okay. So very good. So
Charitra is
5.
conduct.
Yeah, barabar. 5. Okay, so 5. Now let's understand what is pariyaay. It is a modification or activity of each gun in each samay. So gun ni pariyaay hoy. Each gun ni. Now Punam, here we will answer your question, the one you had written in the chat. Each gun ni pariyaay hoy. Now you have already understood this. Remember we did all those examples. Ashish had given the example of gold. Then I had given the example of sweater. Rahul had given the example of lodu. Neelamanti had given the example of keri. If you all remember, now let's do a quick revision so it will come back. For example, there is a mango. The mango is the pudgal dravya. Ema gun che ras gun, so taste gun. It was bought on day 1. So the taste was sour, and 5 days later when it riped, the taste was sweet. So the modification of each gun is called pariyaay. Now, let's take the example of gold. Gold is the pudgal dravya, which has a gun called varna, which the color of gold is, say, yellow. So when it was in the mines, it was a dirty yellow, and then when it was polished, it became a bright yellow. Right? So this was an example of Varna Gun. Now let's take the example of Sparsh. So somebody had given the example of, what was it? Water, I think somebody had given. That water is Pudgal Dravya, ema Sparsh namno gun che. When you touch it, when it's hot, obviously it is, you can feel the hotness on the finger. And the minute it cools after 15 minutes, when you touch it, so the touch is now coolness or cold. So now like we will have 3 examples. Punam, give one example of Pudgal. Sparsh, Ras, Gandhavarna, any one gun.
An avocado, as it's unripe, it's harder, sparsh gun. અને પછી પાકી જાય એટલે softer થઈ જાય.
Softer થઈ જાય. So okay, good. One example. Now Ashish, give one example. Now of course you like the ones which are in the Shastra, but think for yourself so that you understand yourself. That think of your own original example.
Fruit.
Fruit.
When it's raw, it doesn't smell. It smells less. And then it ripens, there's more smell.
Yeah, okay. Then you can say sweet smell, for example. Yeah. So what gun is this?
Varna.
Gandh. Gandh gun. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let's come to Jeev. Now, Punam, let's answer your question over here. Jeev gun. Just repeat your question. What was it again?
I hope I can remember it.
I have it on the chat.
Yeah. I think I was asking, so the Gnan gun that we have in Jeev Maji, apru Gnan gun hoy, આપણી soul body change કરે તો automatically એ જ્ઞાન ગુણનું પર્યાય થઈ જાય છે ત્યારે, so when we leave one body and we go to another body, does the Gnan gun undergo a pariyaay at that point automatically?
Yeah, it is going up. I mean, it is undergoing a pariyaay 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days in a year. Okay, so now I will read your question. Do all Jeev have the same potential? As we say, we can all achieve Arihant state. So our Jeev should all have the same Gnan potential. So yeah, so she's put a question mark. So our Jeev should all have the same Gnan potential, question mark. Now, Gnan is a gun and any pariyaay thai che. Pariyaay ni thai che. For example, a young boy who is 5 years old and Gnan is obviously less compared to maybe who is 30 years old, who has finished all his studies and now who is working. Compared to that same person, that same 30-year-old is now 89 years old. And this is only an example. He has got dementia. What happens to the Gnan gun? I mean, not gun, sorry, the pariyaay. The pariyaay has changed. It is changing. So although we have the same potential, to attain infinite knowledge, we will not reach infinite knowledge until there will be that change of Gunistan and when we're in 12th Gunistan. But in this Gunistan or until the 4th Gunistan, that fluctuation will be there. That like fluctuation will be there. Obviously, that fluctuation is till the 6th Gunistan. And then from 7th, okay, let's start again. Okay, so infinite knowledge can be attained by Arihant Bhagwaan only. And that is our potential. That is our potential. Point number 1. Let's not bring in Gunistan right now. So that is our potential, because if we will get confused because we have not learned that. So that is our potential just for today only. Just for today, our Gnan Gunni Pariyaay, is changing. Not every second, but every samay. In one samay, there are uncountable seconds. There are uncountable seconds, not countable, not billion, not trillion. but there are uncountable seconds, because billion, trillion we can count, zillion we can count, but there are uncountable seconds in one samay. So now have you understood that gun, it is the modification or it is the activity of each gun in each samay? Atul, have you understood? Ask your question in case if you haven't, and then we go to Punam's part 2 of the question.
તમે કીધું ઈ પર્યાય તમે ચેન્જ થાય ને તમે ડિમેન્શિયા થઈ જાય છેલ્લે whatever what તો તમારું છે તમારો આત્મા છે what is it doing now? Is it in its own world now? Is it going somewhere, or is it, I don't know what it's thinking, because
Okay,
dementia હોય તો શું કરો તમે?
Okay, so this is what we call as dementia, but this is the word we use, but in its reality it is the change of pariyaay.
Right.
Pariyaay માં જ્ઞાન ઓછું જ છે. Like you don't remember your son's name. Like a patient who has got dementia, they will not remember their own son's name, for example. So જ્ઞાની પર્યાય જેવી છે, which we call as dementia, right? So you are a soul. So Atul, don't differentiate, or like don't keep the soul as a third party. હું પોતે આત્મા છું, હું પોતે આત્મા છું, મારી જ્ઞાનની પર્યાય છે, મારી પોતાની જ્ઞાનની પર્યાય છે, અને that જ્ઞાનની પર્યાય is changing every second, not every second, every samay. Is this clear?
Forever.
Yeah, Ashish. Sorry, forever. Even when one becomes Siddha Bhagwaan. Yes, even when one becomes Siddha Bhagwaan, the only difference is in Siddha Bhagwaan, all pariyais, although they're changing, it is the same, or no, same is not the right word. It is the similar pariyai which is coming. So Anant Gnan, then again Anant Gnan, then again Anant Gnan, then again Anant Gnan, then again Anant Gnan, forever. In like Siddhashila. In Siddhashila, it will be like that. Anant Gnan, Anant Gnan, Anant Gnan, Anant. Every pariyai is changing. Every pariyai is changing. But each pariyai, although it is changing, it is replicating itself. It is replicating itself. And આપણું શું થાય છે? આપણું fluctuation થાય છે, પૂનમ. અને સિદ્ધ ભગવાનનું constant રહે છે. Bindi, is it clear?
એક જીવને જે જ્ઞાન થયું હોય throughout the life, અને પછી જેમ આપણે કીધું કે ડિમેન્શિયા આવ્યું ને એની પર્યાય ચેન્જ થઈ ગઈ, અને ઈ જીવ પછી બીજે ક્યાંય જન્મ લે તો એનું જ્ઞાન પાછું નવેસરથી ચાલુ થાય કે એને જેટલું હતું before dementia ત્યાંથી કન્ટિન્યુ થાય?
Nah, that again will fluctuate. It will depend on what sort of karma you have done. Let's take Kundkund Acharya's example. In his previous birth, he was a shepherd boy. એને વાંચતા નતું આવડતું, અને એક જ ભાવમાં, sorry, in the next life, એ કુંદ આચાર્ય થઈ ગયા. એટલે કેટલું જ્ઞાન વધી ગયું. એને પૂર્વ ભાવમાં એનું નામ હતું કોંડેશ. Kondesh did not even know how to read. એટલું એનું કઈ જ્ઞાન નતું, પણ એને કેટલું સારું કામ કર્યું કે ના બધા એનું શું કહેવાય, એનો લાઈક પુણ્યનો જોર વધી ગયો. પુણ્યનો જોર વધી ગયો એટલે એનું જ્ઞાનનું બી એટલું બધું એનું થઈ ગયું. એનું, I mean, because he like preserved a shastra. એને એમાં એટલું બધું એને એવું કામ કરી લીધું કે in the next birth he became Kundkund Acharya. Now, for example, somebody who puts, this is just an example, so somebody who puts a Jain Shastra on the floor on purpose, with a lot of hatred. So, for example, like we will consider a lawyer to be very intelligent. In his, you can even say not even in the next birth, say after 5 years, એનું બધું જ્ઞાન will go down. Any gnani pariyay will change. Will change. This is only an example for us to understand the fluctuation of gnani pariyay. So each gun, now Shraddha gun ni pariyay thase. Shraddha gun ni pariyay. Darshan gun, okay, because darshan is the same as Shraddha. So darshan gun ni pariyay thase. Charitra gun ni pariyay thase. But the anant gun, virya gun ni pariyay thase. Sparsh, ras, gandha, varna, which is in Pudgal, any badhai ni pariyay thase. Gun ni pariyay hoy. Gun ni pariyay hoy. Modification hoy. Rahul, is it clear? A little bit, but not too much, isn't it?
તમે કહો છો આત્માને knowledge તો છે જ ને. Whether in your previous janam you were a shepherd and now you are, but એને જ્ઞાન તો હતું જ ને.
Yeah, okay. Atul has brought out a valid point. Gyan no kudas nash નથી થતો. ભલે fluctuate થાય છે, પણ નાશ નથી થતો. એક ઇન્દ્રિય જીવ જી છે, like say for example, one which is in the like carrot or in the potato, જેમાં એક ઇન્દ્રિય આટલા બધા જીવો છે, એને પણ જ્ઞાન છે. એનું બી નાશ નથી થતું, પણ એનું મિનિમમ એટલે સાવ મિનિમમ જ્ઞાન છે. અને compared to the highest on the other end is સિદ્ધ ભગવાન, જેને અનંત જ્ઞાન છે. એટલે જ્ઞાન, okay, so Atul has brought out a valid point. ઈ આત્માનો ગુણ છે, એટલે જ્ઞાનનો કોઈ દિવસ નાશ નથી થતો. જ્ઞાન can never be destroyed. એટલે કોઈ દિવસ zero નથી થઈ જતો. Zero થઈ જાય, then what can happen? Let's see who has understood. If it becomes into zero, what can happen? Rajshri, think. It is an easy answer. Easy answer. It is not a difficult answer. We have done this in chapter 5. Chapter 5 or chapter 6? Bindi? Yeah, Poonam or Rahul, somebody has raised their hand.
I think it's what I think you're not Jeev anymore because it's
Yeah.
one of the
So you become a Jeev. Which is not possible. Because Pudgal, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, Akash and Kar, our Panch Dravya are called a Jeev. Pudgal, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, Akash and Kar, Panche Dravya are called a Jeev. And આપણે જીવ કોઈ દિવસ અજીવ નથી થઈ જતો. કારણ કે પાંચે દ્રવ્યમાં ગુણ, જ્ઞાન ગુણ નથી. Yeah. So, okay, so now it is time